What are you doing?
2000. I was on IRC in friggin' 92, 93.
Yeah, but it was so popular in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Back before there was web pages.
That sounds awful.
No, I was literally on the internet before there were web pages.
I know.
That's crazy.
I'm listening to you and it sounds like the worst.
You'd send an email and you'd have to wait for them to route through servers, but they were on like a 10-minute cycle.
Nice.
So you'd send somebody an email just because that was the only way you could actually chat with them, and you'd literally have to wait 10 minutes for it to route through, and then 10 more minutes for them to get a message back if they saw it and immediately responded. It was the worst.
Try to communicate with somebody on Mars.
It's kind of like that.
Bring Mark Watney home. He's fine. He's got potatoes.
Can make French fries and tater tots and hash browns and potato soup.
Oh, so every morning this week, when I've gotten into my car, you were brushing your teeth. Are we recording or streaming?
We're streaming, we're not recording it.
I was just asking.
Do you want me to stop?
No, it's okay. Every morning this weekend, I've get in my car in the morning, and it now suggests 2 places to go instead of just work. It suggests work, but above that it says Waffle House.
So the same thing.
So every morning this week I've been like, I'm late for work.
But I'm not late if I was going to Waffle House.
Waffle House is only 10 minutes out of the way.
You know, if you brought everybody Waffle House, they wouldn't care if you were late. That's what I've heard.
That's a long way to take Waffle House. Cameron Esposito. Guess what, Roy Moore? I'm still gay! I'm gay! And I'm not in prison because being gay isn't illegal. In fact, you lost on my wedding anniversary!
Yeah, I was watching that last night, just kind of refreshing the count.
I knew I didn't want to fall into that fucking trap, so I didn't at all.
Yeah, not me.
It was terrifying how close the numbers looked for a while. Because it was like at 89% and they were literally like 500 votes apart.
It sucks.
It does. It really does.
Roy Moore refuses to concede, says we also know that God is in control. J.K. Rowling. Narrator's voice. Roy was right. God was in control. What he didn't realize is she's a black woman. Yeah, you come on. I mean, Tony. When you see the Star Wars, Tony?
Saturday morning.
Fuck. How are you even making it like that?
Turning off the internet.
Good. No fucking Tony problems all week.
6 o'clock tomorrow evening, the internet gets shut off.
No, I'm texting.
I've already gotten it.
Okay, Google, turn off the internet.
I'm gonna drive out here and shout spoilers at your house. As soon as the movie's over.
When are you seeing it?
Tomorrow night. Not early enough in the day. What time it is? 10:30. Not early.
It's 11:30.
It's 7 o'clock Saturday morning.
Yeah.
It's after you see it.
We're seeing it 12:10. You're seeing it at 12:15. I will send you texts. You get spoiled 5 minutes before everything happens.
Why won't I stop looking at my phone?
Doing this to me! Well, while Tony's working stuff out, I'm going to read a headline.
I don't know where the fuck my tickets are.
Police issue warning after coyotes seen in St. Louis.
That's not new.
It happened 9 hours ago.
It happens near the garden. Like 2 or 3 years ago that we had a coyote running around.
No, this was 4 of them.
Oh, well. Now it's a pack.
Yes. Now it's a gang.
Gangs in St. Louis. Gangs are invading.
Yeah, no.
They're moving south.
We were voted the second
Gangiest.
the second least safe city in the United States.
Was Chicago number 1?
I didn't look. I was just mad.
Chicago,
I'm pretty sure
Detroit.
we were number 1 for a while, and I was just mad that we lost our.
Yeah.
Even though
Lost our
things we
cred.
improved.
No, if you're not number 1, you're not improving.
Yeah, if you're in first, you're last.
Alright, cool.
What is? It's probably Detroit or something like that.
It's probably Detroit, because Detroit's a fucking cesspit.
Do you think St. Louis gets this bad reputation just from that one weird road?
It's not a reputation. It's like based off of real facts.
Statistics.
It's not just like how people feel, because I'd be like, I feel good. Fort Lauderdale, Florida is
What?
All those fucking old people selling their opioids.
Yeah.
It's probably spring break shit.
Spring break, yeah. Is it for white people being arrested? Is that...
the majority of the top 10 most safe places are in New England, or at least close to New
Because
England.
nobody's there.
2 of the places are in Maine. Lewiston? Really? Wow.
I have no idea what these tickets are, so I guess we're not seeing you at all. Well, I gotta scroll past all my Thor Ragnarok tickets. Oh no, here we go. Yeah, 10:30.
10:30 tomorrow?
You sent me a calendar invite for 10:30 tomorrow, so I hope that's what it is.
I don't need some Thor Ragnarok tickets. Justice League. It also kind of bums me out that Fandango bought the tickets and told me that there are no tickets that are coming, even though I have this ticket that says Fandango on it.
That's weird.
For 25 hours from now.
Yeah. I'll find out.
Maybe that upcoming timer is really like sensitive. Like,
Oh, it's time for the takeoff.
Kong Skull Island.
Tony, we're gonna start a GoFundMe page for
A new
laptop.
fan for that laptop?
No, just a new laptop.
Leave me with that. I don't need to be moving the mouse around.
It's gonna be a tough sell to get people to fund a person who could just buy a new laptop, but really it's for me, so I don't have to do anything.
Hey, this is Tony.
This is Alex.
This is Kayla.
This is David.
We're the Backseat Producers.
What are we doing next week?
Star Wars.
Oh,
We're all seeing you between now and then.
how uninspired.
I mean,
Are we gonna bring Nick
if,
next week?
if we're even going to be here next week, because like it took 3 weeks to get this movie done.
We're busy.
I know.
I'm tired.
podcasting content.
Nope.
This is the best audio.
Still in my garage where you left it.
Dude, I'll come get it while I'm on my next tire slashing run.
Well, before you take it, replace that bulb in my doorstep, so I don't have Halloween lights on my doorstep for the rest of my life forever.
I meant to do that when I came over the other day, and I forgot.
You just need a hue bulb out there.
Oh, I do have one left.
There you go.
What is up?
Can I have it? Hi, Panda. I know, the last time we recorded, Peach was here. We have a buddy to play with.
Oh, I'm sorry. I could have brought her. He's not.
No, don't let him try and convince me of this.
What's happening here?
He doesn't trust you.
I want you to look at me, but don't touch me.
Yeah. As long as you don't touch his feet, it's fine.
Panda, have I told you the story of
Clip the Hooded?
what's up? Do you need a shoulder?
Do you need to go outside? Do you need out? Oh, yeah.
I was going to tell him the story of Ban Lu, the Grandmaster's companion. This mount that I spent 2.5 months getting.
How about Blue Copperfield?
I'm not talking about Blue Copperfield. You know the rule about gaming stories.
He's not here right now, so, what's your opinion? How do you guys feel about him? Is he terrible?
He sucks.
He's the worst.
You know how we were making jokes about Clip the Hooded being mythical and impossible to find?
Yeah.
We were all hoping that was blue.
Yeah, we've got the chaotic evil imp.
Oh, we're doing this.
No, I'm just saying we've got this. That whole situation you created.
Which one?
The chaotic evil demon in the imp that's the familiar of a brain-dead tiefling warlock.
He's just kind of a jerk. He's not even really
No. That is instantly trumped. After like 4 words out of Alex's mouth about his character.
I turn everything into a competition.
You lost.
That's fine.
We all lost.
We did all lose.
And this is why we're never playing it again. So don't worry about it.
The fucked up part of that whole thing
It was the whole entire thing.
no, was I was fully expecting my character to get the shit beaten out of him. He did not get touched despite 4 people trying to attack him.
Yeah. You notice how I drew 2 other guys toward you and then just danced away?
He fucking killed them all.
Alex has got this.
Why is none of it makes any sense? He should have been hit. He should have been hit at least once. You weren't hit either, were you?
No.
Yeah.
But
Fucking Mr. 1 hit point over here. Whoa.
Yeah, when that first fucking fight we're in, I'm getting pummeled. Oh, I'm gonna go help Kayla. What the fuck is happening?
Fine, do it.
Alright.
Can we be done with this now?
Yeah.
Thank God.
I don't. Whatever. Alright, this fucking movie, what did you think of it?
I liked it.
What
That's
is
why I
this movie?
suggested.
This movie's called They Look Like People.
They do look like people. Maybe because they're people.
Maybe.
maybe.
I like this movie. That's why I suggested it.
Kayla, what did you think of this movie?
I didn't realize it was a scary movie.
Oh, hey, it's a scary movie.
I was scared.
Good. Good.
then it did its job.
I think so.
Alex,
I hated this movie. I couldn't finish it. I think I got.
What is like? Why can't you like just finish movies? Like, why is it you get to a point and you're like, no.
I don't know. I just didn't give a fuck. It was so boring. This movie's terrible. I stopped watching shortly after that one woman told the guy to move before she hurt him. And I was like, I'm done.
But that was a good part.
What,
Because then
move
she
before she
immediately
hurt
hurts him.
Yeah. He took her down to the basement and he was asking her, like, what am I supposed to do? I got the acid. And then he, like, blocked her.
That was when the
from
movie got like really interesting.
You always say that about stuff when I stop. You said that about.
Yeah, why haven't you learned your lesson?
It was. She left, and then the other guy came back, and I'm like, oh, why am I watching this? This isn't enjoyable for me, so I stopped watching.
Everybody say hi to Nick real quick.
hi Nick.
Oh, fuck that dude.
I heard he didn't message you back for days.
Tony, what did you think?
I did not like this movie.
Wow!
I did not like it.
Wow, after the whole Ford debacle? Jesus, how much?
So are we at half and half?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
It felt like a student film.
Just
It
taking
felt
L's.
really cheap, at which I can appreciate an inexpensively made movie. That doesn't bother me, but the writing was meandering for no reason. Like, this movie felt like it was like 2.5 hours long, and it wasn't even close to that.
It felt like I had been watching this movie for 2 hours before I stopped watching it.
Okay, again, this movie was an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, it just fucking dragged time. It made a temporal field where everything sucked and took forever.
I think the movie was tense, and so the slow, ponderous scenes felt like they were a lot longer because it was tense. Because
they weren't tense. It was like this. There was this weird pseudo tension of
Just pseudo tension.
it wasn't tense. It was some guy acting like he was tense. It just I never felt. It created
when he's
annoyance.
down in the basement and the lights get cut for the first time, where he's talking on the phone and she's like, "Is somebody in the?" And then like that whole scene, and then he goes upstairs. Like, that was all really tense for me. I was watching like this. That's my eyes covered.
Yeah.
For those who can't see.
most of
I don't know.
it
It's just
was incredibly tense for me. Mostly, like, the dude just, like, if I met this dude in real life, he just had, like, off-putting mannerisms that would make me not feel unsafe, but I would be guarded as if this situation could go south at any moment, but wasn't currently going south.
yeah. This movie had a ton of horror movie idiocy in it from the other guy, from the guy whose apartment he was. I don't know. It just all felt so dumb.
Idiocy from
I don't know
him.
that it was idiocy. Like, that just seemed like
Let's just hang out.
They were.
You're being a
they're old
creeper,
friends.
but that's all right. Let's go get drunk.
They're old friends, like from way back.
Yeah.
And
I
they
get
had,
that.
he had just gone through something really traumatic. He broke up with his fiance, and apparently they kind of slip it in later into the movie. She was pregnant. They don't say what happened to the pregnancy, but that's obviously a heartbreaking thing. So he's trying to power through his life, but he's obviously clearly depressed. He said he tried to kill himself. Again, they just slip that in. They just, kind of slip that in like it's no big deal, but that's his character. He's trying to, like, brush everything under the rug. So I think, like, he finds his old friend, and he's like, everything's gonna be awesome now that you're here. So you're like, oh, he's kind of being creepy, but no, it's okay. It's Wyatt. It's my old buddy. Everything's finally gonna be fine when things haven't been fine for so long. So you kind of, like, just deal with your old friend's creepy mannerisms.
Yeah, right here.
And And then
I guess
the longer you do it, you're more invested. So the more invested you are, the more shit you're gonna deal with, and that's where
Sunk cost fallacy.
yes, there it is.
I guess the issue is that I got no investment in this because I never got invested in it. I never cared about any of
I
the
don't think
characters.
she was talking about you.
Oh, I know she wasn't.
You should listen to her podcast on film. She does this. She reviews films regularly.
What?
Yeah.
That sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, no, that's a failed idea. It's never going anywhere.
Yeah,
It's also terrible to listen to. Actually, you know what? Don't listen to it.
as a matter of fact,
It's all
That's fine. That's fine. It just didn't do anything for me. I watched through
to
it.
jerk you off or what?
I
It didn't do that for me.
I expected.
You rode the movie around.
I would have enjoyed any sort of entertainment value to it. I got none. I did not. I didn't enjoy the movie, and it was one of those things that like I got like 40 minutes into it, and it was like, oh, well, it's a good thing it's only 40 minutes longer.
Jesus Christ!
I just didn't care.
It wasn't. You know what happens very rarely?
The
to
acting
me?
was subpar.
You know what happens very rarely to me in a movie? We get to the last 5 minutes of the movie, and I don't know how it's going to end.
You didn't?
yeah, I didn't.
I didn't know if that guy was crazy or not.
Oh, he was totally fucking crazy.
That doesn't mean that aliens weren't a thing.
Or this
Like,
invasive species wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't understand how they were going to resolve that. Is this going to be a movie about mental illness, or is this going to be a movie about like an invasion of bug things? I don't know.
Then he had that dude tied up, and then I'm like, is he actually going to pour this fucking acid on this guy? I did not know which way it was going to go.
Yeah.
The biggest problem that I had with the movie was that it felt like a short student film that should have been 15 minutes long.
What if I told you it was a short student film that they expanded from a 15-minute long student film?
They should have left it at 15 minutes then.
Yeah, honest with you, I just made all that up.
I
just wanted to say, I just wanted to know what you'd say.
I figured you did. Because the last time there was a short movie that I'm aware of that we watched that was a short film that was expanded into a longer film, it was shit also.
When you started talking about short film, I thought you were going to go with Flowers for Algernon. No. The short story that he expanded into a full book. No. Which is why I remember reading a short story, but there's a full book, and I'm like, I don't remember this. All this sexual stuff? I read this in 4th grade.
I'm just going to cut you off. I was talking about Kung Fury.
Kung Fury was fucking brutal.
You know what?
Let's just fucking... You know what? Stop the podcast. Go watch Kung Fury. Everyone wins.
Well, you guys keep talking about they look like people. I've decided I want to talk about Django Unchained now.
No, we're not.
No, I'll talk about it.
No, we're not.
Django.
I don't understand how you guys like. The really interesting part about this movie was the entire movie going back and forth, trying to see it from. So we have the perspective of Wyatt, who is going through these things, and then you have the perspective of literally everybody else in the movie. I'm thinking like, how would these situations like interact? Like, how would you react if you were Wyatt and these things were happening? You like, I think they mentioned that he might be schizophrenic, and I don't know if that's what they were portraying exactly in the movie. I assume so. It seemed pretty close, but like, just trying to think. Like, this is something that people actually go through, and like, it's very real to them, and it was real to Wyatt. But then all the people around him are just viewing this like, what if I just walked up to you and I was like, Tony, I need you to believe me. I need you to believe me because we are all in danger. Like,
well, it's you. So
does that mean yes or no?
It means...
Because there's the conflict of the story.
Wait. It means shots.
Which is what they did.
I don't know what it's like to have schizophrenia. Right.
You know what it's like to have friends.
Yikes.
Schizophrenia.
And so when they come up to you and they tell you something crazy.
See, I
need you to believe me. I need you to
looking at it from Wyatt's perspective, because like I've come up to you guys before and like I need a sanity check
Yeah.
on what is happening right now.
Yeah, you've done that.
Yeah, I did that at the Pink Galleon with the food.
That's a different type of sanity. We do sanity
Yes.
checks all the time, but that's a different. That isn't a literal. I'm going crazy. Like that's a. I need.
That isn't the, like, you're walking around outside and there's a dude with a machine gun walking around getting ready to murder people. You don't come in and say, okay, sanity check, guys. Can someone go check out this dude outside with the machine gun? You're like, there's a dude with a machine gun. And we're like, where? Let's move the opposite direction.
The point I'm trying to illustrate is this is the closest I feel like I can come to, like, having schizophrenia. Is like, I need sanity checks for some situations because I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure this is fucked up, but like, is it? You know, whereas in this situation, like, I don't know what I would do if it seemed 100% real to me. I don't know what it's like to be in that situation. On the flip side,
But that's what this movie explores. Like, and if you watch the movie,
the space.
Yeah, just pulled out your fucking cowbell. Really explored the space of this movie. I actually really feel like the movie gave you the resolution, the thing that you were looking for with what you're talking about.
if you had watched it,
Spoiler, the climax of the movie is he ties his buddy to the chair and he's going to pour acid on him.
yeah. So
Do you think he pours acid on him?
So he, like, his buddy gets fired from his job. I'm just gonna tell you out of this movie. His buddy gets fired from his job, and like he starts drinking, and Wyatt is like, he had finally told him like, they're coming for us. Like, oh. So at first the dude was like, my friend is crazy. Like he needs to go see help. But then this night he starts drinking. So then when Wyatt comes home, he's like, all right, what do we got to do? We got, there's a battle going on. Like, how do I fight them with you? So he's like, he's not pretending to be on board, but he's going along with it. It's kind of like he's
got nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
Enabling him?
no, not enabling. It's just like
got nothing.
David said. He's like he doesn't care about anything anymore.
This guy is a shitty person.
Yeah.
Who?
Tony, we're all shitty people.
I don't remember their names. Which one's the
Wyatt
sick
and
one?
Christian. Wyatt is the
The one who comes to town.
Yeah.
Alright, Christian. Christian's an extra shitty person.
Why?
Because he knows Wyatt has a problem. He has had a problem in the past. He comes to him with all this shit and says,
Did he?
and it's, yeah.
What was his problem in the past? I didn't catch that.
They kind of,
Psychiatric problem?
yeah, he had psychiatric
I
problems
was like
in the past.
this for a lot of the movie. I
Yes.
won't lie. Like
But were you also like this?
I did turn it down.
Well, there you go.
Oh, hold on. I hear the tension.
Oh, wait.
You can't get me.
If I would have listened to the movie also, I would have realized how inane the story was.
If I had watched the movie, I would have been really upset.
I didn't catch the part that he had, but
Yeah,
no,
so he had psychiatric problems. And then Christian's like, yeah, buddy, what kind of crazy shit are you seeing? Let's do
Christian
Hold
is also having problems.
hold on. I watched this movie 2 months ago, so obviously my recollection of it is a little hazier than probably everybody else's.
I watched it about a month ago.
However, I believe the problems that Christian was referencing in the past were shortly after Wyatt's breakup.
No, that's not possible.
But then he asks Wyatt if he's seeing a doctor, and Wyatt's like, "Yep, I'm seeing him tomorrow."
Oh, right. Okay, I see what you mean.
So, I mean, like, I don't think that it's unreasonable for a Christian to be like, "Oh, he's seeing a doctor." Like, clearly he's getting help for this issue.
But Christian is also downward spiraling.
Oh, yeah.
He says he tried to kill himself a year ago. Like it's not like Christian is on the.
He's
up
not
and
the
up.
most stable
He's
person,
trying.
right, yeah.
Like he's trying to emit that that image that he's like a stable person, and I think that's also another part of it. His buddy shows up into town. Christian is dealing with all this shit, and he sees Wyatt as someone that he can take care of, and he gets fulfillment from that. Like he gets fulfillment from helping his old buddy. But anyways, the end of this movie, he says, like, we're gonna okay, like, All right, whatever you say. He's drunk. Like I don't even know what is he drinking. Like tequila or something. That's neither here nor there.
No, it's
Details are
important. The tequila. If it's tequila, it's very important detail.
It was some clear hard liquor that looked like it was fucking him up. He's drinking it straight out of the bottle. So they end up some stuff happens. They end up down in the basement because they can't hear them down in the basement. And Wyatt is gearing him up, they're putting on hazmat suits, and he's got masks, and he's explaining to him everything that's happening. And Christian is just all right, let's do this, and he's singing and dancing, and then Wyatt starts hearing the buzzing noise that he hears when he's near someone who's infected. So then he's hey Christian, and then Christian looks at him and he's you think I'm one of them, don't you? Okay, well, to prove that you can trust me, tie me up. So he ties him to a chair and ball gags him, sock gags him. Because he's I don't know how they infect people. I think it might be through their eyes, but it might be through their voice as well. So he puts a sock in his mouth, duct tapes it, puts a paper bag over his head. So Christian is doing this to prove to Wyatt that he can trust him, and also because he's he just doesn't give a fuck about anything anymore. And then Wyatt sits in the corner with his sulfuric acid, and he sees Christian start to he goes limp, and then there's blood running off his hands, and he's having all these
fucking bag starts
that fucking
moving.
bag, the bag starts pushing out,
undulating, there's something
in it
going on.
So the climax of this movie is he's sitting in this fucking chair, and Wyatt's got this thing of sulfuric acid ready to dump it on his ass.
And he's got to choose. He's got to decide. Am I about to dump sulfuric acid? And it's going through the monologue of whoever was giving him the messages before. They look like your friends, blah 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 blah.
And then they pulled the punch.
No. No. So he at that moment he has to decide what is is he hallucinating, or is this something real that he needs to exterminate?
So what happens?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
Now you're on the edge of your fucking seat.
Nothing. 80 minutes long, nothing happens.
Listen, you're gonna pay for that whole seat, but you're only gonna use the edge.
I don't know how much I have to add to that.
What?
That was a summary.
That was me telling you what happened to him.
I appreciate
He pulls off the bag.
with the accuracy.
He doesn't pour acid on him.
He does not pour acid on him. He just decides that
He needs help.
so Christian is sweating.
This is how the aliens win.
This is how the aliens win.
It's the aliens that don't exist.
But they could have existed.
Schrodinger's aliens.
Yeah, that's
I think it's way more interesting of a movie that it was mental illness and not you could literally write any sort of sci-fi horror movie.
Except it didn't feel. It didn't. It never felt like it was anything but mental illness.
Yeah.
The only time the only time they hinted that it was possibly anything else was when, as the audience, we see the bag moving, or when he's getting weird phone calls. But turns out those are all just hallucinations.
The first time I heard the buzzing, I assumed it was mental illness.
Or when people's faces are melting.
I don't think I saw that part.
That happened to several people.
It just never felt like it was anything other than mental illness to me. Like the movie starts and he's manic, and it's like, this guy's crazy. There's something wrong with him.
And this speaks to your relationship with mental illness more than the film or the movie.
Probably. It probably
but
does.
wouldn't you be manic if you were literally going through something like this?
I assume so.
I'm getting
It's
phone calls at 4 a.m. being like, hey,
hard
hey,
for me
hey, buddy.
to
watch movies to completion.
It's hard for me
To completion.
detach myself because on the one hand, it's like I feel like if these things were
Motherfucker.
happening to
You're
me,
not recording? Oh, you are recording.
No, I'm not. This is the card.
well,
Wait, doesn't
it
Twitch
goes to
record?
Twitch, right?
Not if you
Not if
set
we
it up
do.
to record.
Not if we don't record.
I mean, I don't think he has podcast turned on.
Nope.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Video on demand. It just records your streams. Wow, that was a really good. Alright, guys, you heard it live, and
The live people heard it all.
Hey, Nick.
Nick, I'm gonna need you
there's
to,
a bunch of people on there earlier.
to play back everything you heard word for word.
Yeah, were you?
So we're recording now that we're halfway through the episode.
Oh my god, I just gave
Spoiler.
like such a good.
Spoiler. This is Tony, this is Alex, this is Cam, this is David. We've been talking for about 20 minutes. Tony forgot to put the memory card into the recorder, so we didn't get any of that. Kayla gave an outstanding summary of the last half of this movie. We're talking about the movie. They look like people.
Tony and Alex are wrong.
Tony and Alex did not care for the movie. Alex did not complete the
Something.
movie
To completion.
to completion.
I guess I'll continue what I was saying. It's hard for me to disassociate myself. I would like to think that if I was in a situation where I was having these hallucinations, I would prompt you guys for a sanity check. But
But he doesn't have anybody.
But you don't know they're hallucinations.
Yeah, that's,
Well,
the
that's-
kind of the thing about.
But if at any point he questions the reality of things, there's one thing at least that he can literally check, and that's he's getting phone calls. You can literally check call records and see, and you can check your own call records because he was getting them on a cell phone.
Yeah, I think the thing that you're discounting here is, like, you're assuming that when you hallucinate these things, or you're schizophrenic and you're just believing things that aren't there, that the normal human capacity to rationalize things doesn't immediately kick in. Like, all we do is lie to ourselves all fucking day.
Oh yeah.
So, like, just because a couple weird things don't add up, usually just glaze on over that shit. You know, there's nothing in the call log, but that's probably because they erased it. I'm sure they've got people placed at phone carriers. I mean, if I was playing an invasion of society, that's absolutely where I would start. The internet, control of the internet is critical to suppressing this population.
two things out of that. Anytime a big data center opens up, or back in the day, anytime a new switchboard would open up for phone lines,
You have to jerk off and joke out.
the FBI or CIA would open up right next door so they could tap in to listen to phone calls.
Agreed.
The other thing is, I have night terrors a lot, and the switch for me to realize that I was in a night terror and to disregard everything that was happening happens really fast. I don't know how applicable that is to having a hallucination because of schizophrenia.
I think the difference is that it's the night terror all the time, and you can't differentiate between the reality and the night terror.
Oh, when I'm in a night terror, I cannot differentiate between reality and
Yeah, no, I think that's the all the time.
But you have a wake up moment where you're then in your reality and you can look back on it and you know that it was just a dream.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
with schizophrenia or hallucinations, you are just constantly in that thing.
So I think the idea of you having a sanity check with people is predicated on your ability, the consistency of the world that you already believe in, and the aberrations of that consistency that make you stop and be like, am I the one who's wrong here, or is everything I assumed about the world wrong? But, like, schizophrenia doesn't have that base consistency to fall back on, so, like, these weird things they're not weird. Like, this whole thing totally makes sense.
So I think part of the problem that I had was that you're right. I I don't have a great relationship with mental illness. I don't.
Hold on, I don't think anybody does.
I don't. It's hard for me to empathize with. It's difficult for me. That is a fault on my part that I freely admit. I don't get it.
Good. We were all making fun of you.
That's fine.
That's in the unrecorded section.
Perfect.
Good.
Yeah, we all heard that, except for the people that are listening to this recording. This movie felt like it was trying to do what Babadook did and knocked out of the fucking park, where they take something else.
Gay weddings.
Because Babadook is Baba Shook.
That was Baba Shook.
Where they take something else and put the trapping of a genre that we're familiar with on it to give us a view into it, and at the end we can very clearly see the result of it. And it just felt like this poor guy needs help. He goes to his buddy, who's the last person who is capable of helping him, and it's just a train wreck until the guy who is in need of help finally just says, I don't know if I can trust my reality.
Yeah.
And like, it didn't feel scary. It didn't like for me. It felt like half measures all the way along the way. The acting never really landed for me. The writing was, I mean, it just felt like half measures all the way along the way. And then when we also just did Babadook a couple of months ago, that was such a superior film on a similarly low budget.
Are you saying that millennials are killing movies for you, Tony? Is that what's happening?
Also the free market. I hate when people say free market. Just grinds my gears.
Raise those interest rates.
So this movie wasn't polished
That was a conversation.
at all. Like, the audio was bad.
I think it's intentional.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think so.
It's just
Because the audio was bad even in scenes where Wyatt wasn't in it. Like, I could understand if the audio, like, if the tracking was off a little bit, you know, it's part of the whole, like, you know, skipping reality sort of thing. But, like, specifically, like, in the whisper box, when Mara and Christian are, like, flirting.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Is that a real
The voiceover, yeah, that's a real thing. He was recording something, I think. It looked like he worked for some ad agency, so it looked like he was recording audio. But like the audio in that it sounded like it was voiceover, and it wasn't done very well.
Yeah.
Like there were things about this movie that I just think the quality wasn't there, but that didn't really detract from my enjoyment of it. The tension, a lot of the tension that for me in the movie didn't have to do with the scenes where it was obvious that they were trying to draw tension. It was with these interactions where I was trying to think, how would I be reacting to Wyatt? Like, and I think David had mentioned this earlier, where like even in the beginning, he has like these mannerisms that would be making me uncomfortable and feel unsafe, probably before I even recognized that I felt that way.
So a lot of like unstable body language that like I don't think you would even necessarily consciously react to, but it's just off-putting.
Like what I would chalk that up to almost, because I know what you're talking about, and it happened a lot in the first 15 minutes of the movie. Like there was a lot of awkwardness in those first couple scenes where they're together in the apartment.
Remember Alexander?
No.
Stabbed in the heart. Did you ever meet him?
No, I did not. Totally.
He was that way, man. Just
Yeah.
like unstable movements that made you really uncomfortable.
There are people at Archon like that.
That's most people at other conventions.
But the like
Kayla makes me uncomfortable. Just low key danger.
that's why you just ditch her in all the conversations.
You know, I got Perry Blackshear on the phone right now. He was the director, so.
All right, let's talk.
Let's talk
Yeah.
to him.
Kayla says your movie was low budget and shitty, and Tony missed the point.
Alex didn't watch it.
Alex hates mental illness people. Me, I'm great, thanks.
I hate my people.
You know what? He just signed me to be in his next movie.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty good job at everyone.
Where was I going with that?
No idea, but I stopped me from getting there.
No, I know where I was going. His mannerisms that showed up in those first 15 minutes of the movie that were awkward and uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are very aware of it because we know we're watching a movie. His
Yeah.
buddy wasn't as aware of it because his buddy was in town. And it was, haven't seen him in a while, so if it was a little awkward, he just chalks it up to that. But it's one of those things that when shit starts going wrong, then you start replaying that conversation in your head. It's like, yeah, he was acting really weird that day.
Do you, though?
Yeah.
Like, can you replay conversations you've had with people after the fact several days later where you're like, he was acting really weird that day?
I totally
Yeah.
can.
What is going on with you people?
My memory is
Especially if
shit.
something had happened, like Tony said. Like, you're like, oh, yeah. Like, he was acting really weird.
Yeah.
But you didn't notice it at the time?
You notice it, but you chalk it up to something else. I've done that before where something's happening and somebody's a little off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out days, weeks, months later,
Yeah, I'm going to cope this
they
time.
had a life event that happened that weekend or that week or that during that period when you were seeing them, and it's like, oh, that's why you were acting so shady that day. You were upset and you were thinking about something else. It wasn't that you were not interested in our conversation. It was you were distracted with something else.
I mean, they probably also were.
Probably. Yeah, that's why I just record my voice and throw it out there. I figured somebody
somewhere.
there's an archaeologist 1,000 years from now that will finally understand my genius.
Your podcast is going to fail.
Your podcast is
West Wings and Wings.
Wings and West Wing. This is going to be good. Ugh.
Wings and wings.
Well, I'm out of stuff to talk about with this movie.
So
I blew all my interesting stuff before the cut.
as we were sitting here talking, I was thinking how I would feel if you guys were like acting the way Wyatt was. The world's going to end and we have to kill some people. I feel like if all of you guys did that,
If all of us?
yeah, if all of you did that, I don't have much else going on. So I'd probably just be like, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Christian also has. He has nothing.
No, that's you saying that is what got me thinking about it. I'm like, if the people that I cared about were going that way and just going down to crazy town, I'd be like,
Stepping on down to Crazy Town.
I'd be like, all right, let's see where this fucking train's going. Let's go.
I mean, let me go back in time 2 years ago.
Shots.
I materialize just on your front doorstep. I knock on the door, I come inside, and I say, Alex, I've come from the future. In a year's time, Donald Trump will be elected president. A year after that, in Alabama, there will be a Senate race between a pedophile and a Democrat, and it's going to be really close as to who wins. Like, really close.
Less than 2%.
Like, a disgusting amount of closeness.
Yeah, that's why when everybody on my Facebook was like, "Good job, Alabama! Like you did." I was like,
Good job, Alabama blacks.
"Yeah, thank you, people of color in Alabama."
So one thing I looked up, just because I was really curious last night after the win, Jeff Sessions held that seat last.
Yeah.
Do you know what his win margin was in 2014?
I assume a lot.
He had 97% of the vote. Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, the lesson here is that we need more voter suppression. Because we tried to suppress the shit out of minorities in this election, and it wasn't enough. So we should do it more, and that fixes the minority.
Was there a lot? I mean, I don't know. I wasn't following those news stories.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was. I'm sure
yeah.
there was. I just hadn't seen the news stories.
There was like a bunch of counties that had predominantly black voters that like their voting place went away like a week or two before the election. Some crazy shit like that.
This actually happened in the most recent mayoral election and something else in St. Louis. They closed down the South City and North City polling booths and put them both downtown in one place.
Yeah.
And then the poll workers were checking IDs and they weren't allowed to. So
You're not allowed to check IDs?
you cannot require an ID. That's to vote. That's illegal.
I don't know.
I think we are enacting our voter ID registration laws next year.
Well, it's been voted illegal by the Supreme Court multiple times. If they enact voter ID laws, they'll just get kicked out.
Yeah. All it's going to take is one or two more Democrats dying on the Supreme Court and that'll get switched.
I don't know why it would even get to the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court has ruled against it multiple times. So like the lower courts should be like, yeah, we already have precedent for this, so that's illegal.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I can quote my father's law commercials. Stop quoting my law commercials.
So a couple of months ago, a guy that I know that you've met, I'm not going to name any names.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Started posting this really bizarre shit on Facebook. Like these paragraph long rants. And it was like multiple paragraph long rants, like 5-10 times a day. And they were just insane. Like talking about how his mother prostituted him out to other adults in the community that they were in because they wanted babies and he was a fertile young man and it's like okay, there's something seriously wrong and but everything else was just crazy. And I was talking to Julie about this and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I showed her something and she's like, how old is he? And he's like in his mid to late 20s now. And she's like, because her undergrad degree was psychology, and she's
What,
like,
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah,
Julie's?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And she was like, that's the age that schizophrenia really develops. And I was like, wow. And I was just tired of seeing the rants. I'd open up Facebook and I'd have to scroll because
He's looking like
Jesus Christ.
Design flaw.
Yeah. And so I unfollowed him, and then 2 days later I was blocked. It was so weird.
I didn't know that you could see when people unfollowed you.
I think you can see. I don't know how what the mechanism was
You can't
there.
see if you unfollow.
I didn't think so.
You got blocked for another reason.
I
It
probably
had
did.
nothing to do.
I probably did.
I mean, it's
I
not
was
that,
getting
not
blocked
that you did anything.
I was getting blocked by a lot of people last year, so it's fine. But yeah, it was I legitimately was concerned about this guy's mental health.
I told you this guy was off.
Yeah. Oh, I always knew he was off. I never realized the level that it had gotten to.
Yeah. You know that time
I know that
time. Yeah, you know that uncomfortable feeling you get when you don't know what the other person's gonna do? Yeah, I believe I expressed that feeling when we discussed the incident.
You were just worried he was going to murder you and wear your skin.
Yeah, I don't feel like that one was an unreasonable expectation.
He would need at least 2 ewes to wear your skin. He's much bigger than you are.
I thought you were telling David that he was going to get 2 skin suits out of him. I was like, that's incredibly insulting.
No, if I kill that guy, I can make 2 suits.
Oh yeah. That's legit.
Oh, yeah, no, he's broader and much taller.
And tall, like really tall.
Yeah, he's a lot taller than me.
Yeah, if you could, like, I think I could probably slip into that skin suit.
Tom Haverford does the suit rental, only it's people's skin suits. Why has nobody done this yet? I think we all know.
You get Maisie Williams to advertise for him.
You get free pot pie with it. I enjoyed this movie, but there was not enough gay sex in it.
It looked like it could go there.
I really thought
there was a montage that
I really thought it was
like are they gonna like after that
sock fight?
That sock fight, it's like they're gonna take one of those socks and hang it on the door.
Yeah. Walk around with socks on their dicks.
What's the sock on the door?
Spinning them around.
And put the dicks in each other. Yeah.
Have sock fights.
You spin it up.
Yeah.
Jousting. Just remind each other.
Is that allowed? Is that allowed in there?
Just like high school.
I mean, but that seemed like supposed to show you how close they are.
Yeah.
Because you don't put blankets on you and attack each other and call it blob wars. Like, that's something you do with, like, your best person. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, watching that. You mean like we did Sunday? No, that's just me. I don't know. That clearly looked like this is something they did when they were like 12 years old together or something, and this is just reliving days gone by. Like, these guys have been buddies for a long time, very clearly.
Dirty Vegas to go.
When he put up that view at the very beginning, I was like, oh, he must be an alcoholic and he's afraid to tell his friend. That is not
I forgot about that.
That is not where that went's at all.
Nope.
He was trying not to drink alcohol because
he'd be on alert.
No, I think he was, but I think he's also, like, he's trying to be on alert, but I think he was also literally trying to figure out, like, am I going crazy? Because he goes and sees the doctor, and he's like, I haven't had alcohol, I haven't even had caffeine, like, so I think that's also one of the
Did he see a doctor? That was another thing that I wasn't completely clear on. When he meets that guy in the park,
I'm pretty sure that was a real.
You think that was a real person?
Yeah,
that
why
could
wouldn't it be?
I've never met my psychologist in the park.
Okay, have you ever been to a psychologist in New York City?
No.
But here's the thing. So, like, the psychologist says, come and see me. I'll get you the drugs and the help you need. That's not like a hallucination style thing, right? Like,
I guess he doesn't.
And he asks him psychologist questions. Like, do your parents know? And have you ever had any long-term relationships that didn't leave you disappointed or something like that? Like, those are, like, real psychologist questions. Also, he had asked him, like, they were supposed to meet in, like, a couple days or a week or something, and then he calls him at 4 a.m. and is like, I need to see you tomorrow. So, maybe they were meeting, like...
on that dude's lunch or something?
Right.
When he was out there jerking off into the lake?
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, it's New York. You just fucking jerk off everywhere.
get bonus points for landing on a body of a mobster that's floating in the lake.
Gross. You're at a lake,
Not a
this
river.
Those are disgusting. Jesus. Whatever the opposite of wow means is you guys.
It's the same. Because it's the same backwards and forwards.
Wow. Looks like slower. Wow. All right.
I don't think I have a whole lot else to say.
Yeah, I said so much good shit before we started recording. I can't even.
That's demoralizing. That's demoralizing, Tony.
What's demoralizing? You know what's
That I didn't
demoralizing is the
record.
fact that you don't watch movies. And we record a podcast of reviewing movies.
Oh, is this your guys' first time not recording?
Oh no, we used to. There was like a couple of months where me and Alex were coming to the podcast and we didn't even watch any of it.
No.
You remember?
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about that we didn't push record.
Oh no, we did that.
Happened one other time.
We
Yeah.
had like a solid 2 hours
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
And then Tony looked down.
Me and you like had a really good podcast, and then Tony looked down. And he's like,
Oh shit!
That happened tonight.
No,
That was tonight.
Except I pivoted.
This was before.
I pivoted and started recording in the middle.
Midstream, we moved
There was
back to the toilet.
it was way longer before.
Yeah. Oh, nothing beats Terminator.
God damn it. I don't even want to talk about it.
T2 was such a
It
good.
was such a fucking good episode.
I made the most solid connection between John Connor and Jesus Christ. It's glorious.
I interviewed Eddie Webb for the new World of Darkness shit and didn't record any of it. And that was our big thing.
Yeah. That was. Did you realize that was 320 episodes ago? Because that was going to be like episode like 100 or 101. No, it was going to be like 101, I think.
Yeah. Like
It was in that range.
Like legit. In 4 months, you and I will have been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah. And a couple months after that, the podcast would be 12 years old.
At that time,
Yeah.
It's a third of my life.
you were fucking old. Holy shit.
I'll be 29 in March.
Your value as a person is diminishing rapidly. Once you hit that big 3-0,
Oh yeah, no, it's over.
those stock prices drop.
That's when you hit 29 plus 1.
Cash out in your 20s now.
I was so pissed off because my mom came out for her birthday last year, and it wasn't till like she left that I realized it was her 29th birthday's 21st birthday. God damn it! Like I could have done something with that.
I can't help you.
Nobody can help me
Let's just
now.
go back in time and fix all the problems.
I gotta be honest. I feel like I've aged 30 years in the last 2 years.
That makes you older than me.
I don't know. The best part is
Yes!
that every year from now on, you'll feel like you age more. Like that rate of aging increases.
Exponential.
Fucking, oh god, what's his name? The Dungeon Master for Acquisitions Incorporated came out on stage at PAX dressed as like some crazy lich costume, and he's like, this isn't a costume, this is just how I look now. I've really let myself go since the election. It's so good. Telling other people's jokes.
It's going to be 20 degrees colder tomorrow than it was today.
I wear shorts all winter time.
I'm actually wearing pants today.
I saw that. Creeps on me.
Yeah. Me too.
Because you always see Kayla in shorts and leggings. Seeing her in jeans.
Well, the problem is that I wasn't dressed and I was playing League of Legends, and then you're like giving me updates. I was like, I can sneak an ARAM in there, like, and I finished the game like just as you guys pulled up, so I didn't have time to like find a pair of leggings and find a pair of
I was
shorts.
giving you updates so you knew.
No, I know. No, I appreciated that.
Specifically because you mentioned you were squeezing one in.
No, I appreciated that, but that's why I didn't have time to put real clothes on, so I just had to put pants on. It's done.
So
I didn't have.
anymore.
Wait, let's examine that quote for a second. I didn't have time to put real clothes on, so I just put pants on.
I never wear clothes, apparently.
Yeah.
Indecent.
I feel like we're running out of fumes here.
I feel like we should go get a shake at every place that won't give the shakes in Illinois. I actually don't want to shake.
Which is every place
Yeah, throw shake
that
machines
claims
down.
to sell shakes.
Fuck you.
I just call them all and just remind them it's Wednesday. The Missouri people are coming.
There's a whole fucking like siren network.
Yeah.
The people that come from the city who expect shit to be working after 10 are here.
It's the fucking like the bonfire signal from fucking Lord of the Rings. Like you just light the top of your house on fire, and then in the distance more signal fires light all the way to the river.
It's a signal that gets sent out on joining 99.1.
Oh, it's okay.
To just tell all the people. Have you seen those fucking commercials? They've got TV commercials now.
For radio stations?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, you know what this means? And they show the bumper sticker.
Yeah,
And I was like, it means that person's a shitty driver.
Yeah, it means potential accident waiting to happen.
That's what the commercial says?
No, that's what I said in response to the commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what
yeah.
does the commercial say it means?
It means that you can turn us on in the morning and get good conversation. And yeah, it's terrible.
Sounds dumb.
It was.
There's a song that they play. It used to be the only station our alarm clock radio would play. And it turns out Christian music in the morning actually does get me out of bed.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you angry, too.
It was the song about the God of Angel Armies. That was a pretty sweet song until like the God of Angel Armies spreads his love on me. Not a fucking angel army. I wouldn't be spreading the love on people. That sounds gross.
It falls in the same line. I don't want to say this. It falls in the same vein as that fucking sign that I saw.
Yeah.
It had quote marks around it. What was it? Behold, he comes!
Yeah.
Exclamation point. All caps. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's...
Listen, Alex,
that's
you
not
complained
creepy.
last time because you didn't get a warning.
It's like,
So,
Just being the courteous dude this time.
like
I used to work at a job where we did data entry for insurance billing for the insurance forms that came in from the doctor's office. So like all of us just listened to music all day. We brought in CDs and just listened to our music, whatever. And this one chick that sat next to me would sing along, except she only knew one word to every song. She knew every time the word Jesus was in the song. And she chair danced the entire time and then would give a Jesus. And, but always like right on cue. Like there was a tempo to it because she was just doing it right along to the music. I borrowed some CDs from a friend of mine and like I left like Slayer CDs, and I brought in my Black Sabbath CDs and kind of left them right there. It's like, oh, do you want to play this game? Because I can play this game.
What the fuck is Pack Post?
Isn't that a mail company? Mailing company?
I would have invested in a set of headphones so fast.
Oh, I had them.
They didn't.
I had them, but she just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Headphones weren't
No.
a thing when
Oh, it's an
No, we had
Australian post.
to
he
put
said
the,
he had a CD.
we had to put a cup to the speaker with a string.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Did you see?
Nope.
Okay, I can't remember. I think it was in Canada. Some board technician at an ISP set up a broadband connection over a wet piece of string. Because apparently somebody's schedule wasn't full enough that day.
Wow.
He's like, I want to see if I can get 10 megabits per second over wet string. You can.
Wow. Holy shit.
Apparently, I don't know enough about how this shit works because that sounds like pure magic to me.
It's just electrical pulses.
Sorcery.
Yeah,
Copper will work better.
sounds like somebody needs to be dunked in a river to see if they float.
Most people can swim now.
If they survive, they're guilty.
Unless it's the Mississippi River.
If they survive, they're guilty.
I mean, they can still swim.
If they die, they were innocent.
They just get sucked under.
Yeah.
Just means they can't swim.
It's not effective swimming.
Michael Phelps disagrees.
Does he?
I don't think so. Probably not. I can't. You know what? I can't speak for Michael Phelps.
Alright, I'm gonna fucking
Call him.
tweet Phelps.
You know what? I got him on the phone too. I know a lot of famous people. A lot of famous or near famous. Famous adjacent people. Michael. Oh no, that's not him. That's a made up call.
Michael Pelps.
No, not even a made up person. I just made up that call.
Wow.
Just let you know about him.
Listen, I found him. He only tweets like once every 2 days. He's obviously not busy.
He's a fish.
We'll see if he responds.
He has to come up for air to tweet.
He had to answer the call of Aquaman.
You talk to fish?
Here's my problem with Justice League. Let's just jump right back into it real quick. Just real quick. The do you talk to fish joke was the best Justice League had to offer, and it was only a slightly lower quality recurring gag than Thor throwing things at Loki through the entirety of Thor Ragnarok. In every fucking scene, Thor throws something at Loki to make sure he's actually in the room. That's a much better sight gag.
You're right. Yeah.
Because it was a gag, but then it also had
History.
purpose at the end of the movie. Because there's like a slightly emotional reunion
it sets
where
up,
he throws it and he's actually there. So it's like Loki's actually here. So there's like this connection. Whereas the fish thing, like it happens twice, so it's only slightly recurring, and
also there's not really a whole lot of fish.
yeah, there's no fish. Yeah, there's no fish.
There's no fish in the movie.
Fish. It's not like when you're playing. Yeah, it's not like when you're playing Injustice though, and fucking Aquaman does his fatality and slams the trident into the ground, and this wave comes, and this shark jumps out of the wave. Yeah. It's pretty great.
I don't want to talk about video games.
I don't know why.
Most of them they're just bad.
I just tweeted to Michael Phelps.
Alright. Wait, why are we tweeting? Are you asking him about teaching...
Are you Michael Phelps?
I'm asking him.
Are you asking him if he can be a blacksmith and teach people to swim?
I'm asking
Medieval swimming instructor.
Michael Phelps.
You just having like... Are you building a medieval university?
Okay, I gotta bring this up on the podcast.
Do you have
Yeah, during the Thanksgiving Steam sale,
What's the...
there was a game that went on sale where you are a medieval blacksmith.
I saw that.
But it's gone! It's fucking gone! Like, I don't know if it was a fake game. It went on sale for $1. I was like, I should just fucking buy this. And then I didn't do it. Now I can't find it.
It was Sam. Sam created it just to troll you.
I was like, I should buy this and just let it run in the background for like 6 months.
Yeah.
So that Steve shows me playing this game for 1,000 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
Good.
All right, next week, Star Wars.
Nice.
Star Wars.
So we can spend another 2 hours talking about Alex.
Validating Alex's secret love for Star
Yeah.
Wars. Yeah, got it.
Sorry.
I've stopped recording. We are still streaming.
We are still streaming.
Until Kayla stops that. Was everybody talking?
Yeah, actually, Nick just said something. He said, "Oh, I'll bring video games to the podcast." I think that was for you, David.
Why?
Because you said,
Most video games
Why?
are just terrible.
Why?
"Why?
Why?
I need a word that has G and C in it.
G and C?
Gooch. No. It needs to have an I and an E also. It can only use an I and an E.
No.
Gucci.
Right.
No, I don't have an E.
Jinky.
Gucci doesn't use an E.
My spelling does.
It's wrong."
Yeah, that's not spelling.
Gine.
Virginia.
Again, no N. I don't know where you guys get the N from, but no N. The best I've got is tigers, but it doesn't
Sig.
have
Giddy.
No.
Sig.
Also, the R can't. The R has to be at the third position.
Cigarette.
Right.
Cigar.
You know what? Never mind, guys.
You got this.
I'll just do this on my own. Thanks.
Garb.
No, it's Gorm.
Yarn.
It's Gorm.
Fuck. Alright.
We gotta sit down and work on your streaming settings. Yeah, I have done absolutely no work to this stream because I'm absolutely the worst. I only think about making graphics for it like
But while you're here.
20 minutes right before I'm like, oh, I gotta get ready for the podcast. Fuck it.
But this A-Ram, you just hop on in here and
You're just gonna jump into the same RAM.
just real quick and just...
Alright, we pull and plug on this.
Yep.
I don't even know how to use OBS. I don't even know how to stop
There's
it.
a stop stream.
Oh, you use the stop streaming button?
The button.
Wow.
It says stop stream.
Wow. Alright, good night, everybody.